Welcome everybody to the Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast Show with myself, Aaron, and Tom. And Tom, I don't know if you're aware, but every Thursday night in Worcester, Massachusetts, at the White Eagle, with Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open together, they put on a show, and it's only $10 a ticket. And to me, $10 a ticket is crazy priced and to run a weekly show, and they bring in talent from all over the world. And one of those talents is here with us tonight. It's the Wildhound himself, Johnny Rivera. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. So it's going good, man. Thank you guys for inviting me. And yes, I am one of the talents for Wrestling Open. I go by the Wildhound Johnny Rivera, and I'm actually from Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm only a few minutes away, so all my dogs can interact with me anytime.
I tell you what, I would give anything. I'm in Kentucky and Tom's in Indiana. I would give anything for us to have a weekly wrestling show in our area like that, where people can come and watch wrestling every Thursday, throw all their cares away, and enjoy different talent coming in and out. So, growing up in that area, how special is that to you?
Man, it's really special there because when I was growing up in Worcester, it's all everybody loves sports, regardless of what it is. It could be football, baseball, and professional wrestling. We all have a passion for it. So to run weekly shows here in Worcester, Massachusetts, it's oof, like it's beyond words. That's all I can say.
Now, how long have they been running these weekly shows?
They've been running it like more than a year now. We actually started January 2022. It's been run by Paul Crockett and Drew. And these are the guys I met Drew I met a little bit ago, and he's a very, very nice dude. And I started working helping with the ring with all that alongside him and Paul. A pleasure to work with.
And like I mentioned, there's talent coming in from all over, and this Thursday night show is one of those. We were able to sponsor a former guest on the show, Rebecca Scott, for that show. You got people like Megan Bain and Zeta Steele. You got Channing Thomas, you got yourself. So when you see this revolving door of talent just always coming in and out, as a wrestler yourself, how does that kind of help you get prepared?
That's a good question because sometimes you watch some of the talents that's coming in, right? Because some of the talents that come in, I've watched them, like YouTube or streaming on IWTV, right? Because sometimes you'll know what how they work and whatnot. Sometimes you change it up because not everyone can work with your move set, or not everyone you can work in their move set. So it's kind of like almost unpredictable. So it's like you say, it's a revolving door. I've seen like people that I've trained with work with guys that come from like the UK, some of them come from Japan, some even from South America. And like I said, it's unpredictable. You just gotta find a quick way to work with that.
So the business as a whole is pretty unpredictable. But what about this business kind of like lighted the fire and ignited you to get into it?
What got me to become a wrestler? Because I grew up Attitude Era and a little portion of Ruthless Aggression. And the very first wrestler that got me into watching more often was actually Triple H. Now, who's running creative and WWE and whatnot. And what got me keep hooked to it, and I actually idolized this man. That was The Rock. In the moment that shot me to become a wrestler was the moment when Jeff Hardy, I think was the second TLC match. I don't completely remember. When Jeff Hardy jumped from that stage to hit the swanton on Bubba Ray Dudley. That was shot me into like, yo, I want to do this.
It's crazy because Jeff Hardy, every time I would say once every 2 months we have a talent on, and Jeff Hardy is this talent that has inspired such a big generation of wrestlers. And so when you look at someone like Jeff Hardy, do you try to moniker your style a little bit? Do you try to add some of his move sets into it since he's someone who kind of got you into wrestling, or do you kind of stay away a little bit from the daredevil side of the things?
I actually want to implement some moves because there was a couple of times in actually the very beginning of my career in pro wrestling, I actually implemented two moves for him. It was the one that been in his arsenals for years, which was the Whisper in the Wind and the Swanton, which I know everybody could do. So I as I'm maturing now, I'm actually approaching 10 years in professional wrestling. I'm trying to like, maybe not implement that a lot. Try to maybe implement that when you're in like a big field, like for example, like Beyond Wrestling. That would be perfect time to like throw that in there. And now I can I fly a little bit, but not as when I was in my early 20s. So I try to play it safe now.
So 10 years in the business. Um, what do you think the hardest thing was for you to kind of get down? And what do you feel like that you can help with others to get, comfortable with in the ring?
Sorry to ask, what was the first part of the question again?
So like 10 years in the business, what was the hardest thing for you kind of to pick up on? And then what's the things that you maybe help the new ones coming in that you're comfortable with to be able to help them?
The hardest one that was really tough for me to completely get was the I think the I don't want to say newer generation, like the next in line people is kind of struggling too, is the psychology stuff. Like it's not just to get the concepts, not just moves and like holes that's gonna wow the people. Yes, that's only gonna wow the people that's into sports aspects and stuff. But we also gotta try to wow the people that like to read, like for example, read stories of your match. And that's what I'm starting to get it now. And what I'm trying to teach the people that comes to training, like Bio Pro Wrestling Institute, you guys can get that a follow on Twitter. Anybody that's watching this right now, um, it's what I'm trying to help them is not only just like moves, holds, and telling a story in the ring, also learn to talk on the mic, which sometimes I'm not a talkative person. So I can give like at least a minute maximum I could do because I'm not like giving details and all that kind of person. I'm more of a straight in your face kind of like I'm gonna kick your ass type of character. So what I try to help them is know yourself first, and then implement a character you want to be, and find a way to have in the middle of that. And I think they can get far in the wrestling business.
I think promos is something that a lot of people do struggle with. I consider myself a pretty decent talker if I'm talking to a smaller group of people, but I don't know if I could captivate thousands of people with what I have to say. So, as you kind of go through your promos, and you mentioned your training class, do y'all sit down and have actual promo training during your training as well, or is it something that you have to kind of master more of your own?
As of right now, we're that training school is kind of just started. even though we're been a few months right now, there's like students that's interested in trying to get promos aside. And a little bit of myself, you can, uh, they had the same question that you had. The answer mostly I give is there could be veterans that's been doing this for years. It could be up to like between 30, 40 years and can still struggle with promos because I'm in that same level. It's just, it's like I said on the last question, it's just know yourself. It's like you're a very talkative person, promos will work for you. If you're not a talkative person, like how I am, uh, I'd say probably best to just try to be straight to the point or however you want. Like I got one student who's charismatic as he talks, and I see in him like he could be the best promo guy. Or I see somebody who's nervous when he's talking. I was like, I see at best 30 seconds. So that's just based on what I've experienced throughout the 10 years I'm doing this.
For wrestling open, like I said, it's a revolving door. Is there anybody that you're hoping will come through that door sometime soon that you can lock horns with yourself? Who's someone on your radar that you're dying to see come your way up there in Worcester?
Oh man, I got a list from ceiling to the floor. But I'll
Who's your
tell
top
you
five?
that
Who's your top five?
man, there's so much to pick. Uh, I would say, the top five. I would like to see Gangrel. I met him a few times, and I like to see him come to the door one day. And I know they implement some rules that's gonna be tough for him to follow. One of them is the one he normally does in the entrance will spit the blood. They kind of say like, yeah, let's not do that. Uh, I would like to see. I would like to see the House of Black, the three-man team. What else? There's like top name guys I like to see, but I know where it's just starting. So I would like to see Takeshita, the one who just started AEW. Number four. Hmm. Like I said, it's a lot of pick. I would like to see fellow former Boston girl, Mercedes Monet. I'd like to see her come to the door. And one more. And this is the person I really would love to lock horns with. Actually, one of the persons who's been a regular in Wrestling Open faced him once. That's Two Cole Scorpio.
Awesome. I like that you
Because
mentioned some legends of the sport mixed in with some names that are really hot right now in the sport as well. Definitely sounds like that there could be some good matchups up that way if some of those names came through the door.
yeah, like I said, I had lists like to the ceiling, to the floor, not only just to come here, but like at least lock horns with. And back to the legends you talk about, Gangrel, outside of Wrestling Open, I did get in a ring with him, I would say once. And that's in the Rumble, and he's delightful to work with. And I like to really have a singles match with him.
So, who are some of the people who are influencing you in your career that you feel like have really helped you to get to the level you're at today?
Hmm. The people that influenced me to get to the levels I'm at. I want to say the few guys that's kind of working with combined Ring of Honor and AEW right now. They actually trained me majority of my time in wrestling. That's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. They were the like to be in the under the wing with. That was back when Taven was actually injured when I started with him. He was expanding a group with Vinny Marcellia and TK Orion, and Mike Bennett was going to Impact Wrestling at that time when I started with them. And there'll be sometimes that I'll keep in contact with them to ask them advice and whatnot. And actually, the last time I saw Matt Taven was actually almost under a year ago. He showed up to Wrestling Open and faced one of the training mates, Love Doug. So those are the guys who influenced me to like not only to know more, but to keep going.
So, are you a big sports fan outside of wrestling?
I've been more of a football, sometimes baseball, and more times than none, wrestling.
Well, because I was kind of going to ask you, the Boston Bruins in the hockey had the best record, kind of choked it away. The Patriots are kind of gone downhill. The Red Sox have kind of gone downhill, but you still have the Boston Celtics alive right now in the NBA Finals. And so I was just kind of wondering, living in such a state where sports, like you're talking about, sports is like the mecca of cash flow through that state galore. Do you ever have time to sit down and watch any sporting events?
Whenever I get a chance, like yes, I do sit down. As of right now, I kind of don't have a cable television, so I try to watch it kind of like right here, wherever it's streaming. Or if I ever miss it, I'll just like look it up to see what's going on, or I'll just try to see highlights from YouTube, whatnot. See, just do the best I could to figure out what's going on. So, so yeah, I do the best to keep it up.
So, you talked about the maybe other sports that you are interested in. Is there any other form of entertainment that you're interested in that you may, derive different things to use in your wrestling career?
That is a good question. Different form of entertainment. If I want to say different form of entertainment I'll be interested in. Mostly just if mostly just acting. I'm trying to get into like mostly just TV, just selecting TV shows, selecting movies. Like I wouldn't want to try to do it full time. Just mostly wrestling. Just got more than 100% of my passion right now.
All right, rapid fire questions. I'm gonna ask you just a few questions. Okay, this is gonna be kind of rapid fire. All right.
All right,
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Freddy versus Jason.
No one's ever said that one on this. I like it. I love when we get. What's the best song ever?
Best song ever in my book would be DMX. X gonna give it to you.
Does pineapple go on pizza?
Gonna be controversial, but hell no.
We always ask that one, and we've got a few yeses on that one. We've got a few yeses on that one. If you can main event WrestleMania against one person, who is it?
My dream WrestleMania main event would be against my hero, The Rock.
Are you going over? Or are you gonna let him go over?
I'm a The Rock mark, so I will let him go over. I don't care if I win or lose, as long as I get in the ring with him. It's all
That's a
dandy.
good pick.
That's a nice payday.
Yeah.
A nice payday. All right, man. Well, again, thanks so much for hopping on. And again, this Thursday, you can catch it on IWTV. If you're in Worcester, Mass, check out the Wildhound himself, Johnny Rivera. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any social media that you want to plug? Right now, here's your chance.
Yes, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Wildhound JR. Yes, and you can also follow me on TikTok, which I got a completely different username, which is average18. I post random like stuff, like funny stuff or whatever. And they can also follow me on Instagram, which is same as TikTok, it's average18. So you want more wrestling stuff? I use Twitter, so remember is Wildhound JR. You'll see me post more there.
Awesome, awesome. Again, $10 a ticket. That's amazing. Like I'd give
Can't
anything
beat
for them to
that.
come this way. Anything for them to come this way. But yeah, absolutely great. For everyone out there, do what you need to do. Make sure you're staying safe so you can go watch the shows all across the U.S. and wherever you may be watching them. We appreciate all support as always. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. For myself, Tom, and Johnny, we appreciate y'all greatly and have a good night.